Welcome to Talk of the Town, presented by Tree City Sports, your source for local sports. I am your host, CJ McClure, and I thank you guys so much for joining us again today. As always, we're rocking the shirt made by AM Creations in Ottawa, Kansas. Go check them out on all of their social pages. Stop by there, get a custom shirt, cup, hat, whatever you would like made. She can make a lot of really cool things, and she does an amazing job. Go check out AM Creations. And as is my morning tradition, I stopped by Arrowhead Nutrition and got my morning drink. This one is a ballpark, and as you can see, it's not lasting very long. This one is super good, as are all of their amazing products. Stop by Arrowhead Nutrition and try all of their wonderful nutritional shakes and energy teas. You will not be disappointed. And I want to give a shout out to our friend Royal's mom, Rita, at RJN Photography. Go check them out on their Facebook page and book them for all of your photography needs. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy Drew at D&N Detailing. It's the time of the year to get your classic cars out, take them to shows. Just be proud of what you have and show it off. When you want to get your car detailed, cleaned up, nice and show ready, hit up my buddy Drew at D&N Detailing. Alrighty, y'all. Now that we got through that, man, Big 12 Media Day, so much news has come out of that. First of all, I want to quickly touch on K-State, and boy, those boys are looking sharp. They looked amazing in their suits. The fits they had were fantastic. But we're not just talking about that, because everything that was said at Big 12 Media Day is right on the money. Coach Kleiman is doing an amazing job building this program, and the pieces that he's adding, the kids he's recruiting for the future for Kansas State looks so bright. It's crazy to think about, and as fans, we're going to talk about it because it's just incredible. The things that Coach Kleiman and Connor Riley and Matt Wells and just Gene Taylor, all of them as a whole, what they are doing for K-State football is amazing to see. Coach Kleiman is building a fantastic roster. He is bringing in even more great recruits, even more from the state of Kansas coming in. We've had a few in the last few days that have announced their recruit or commitment to K-State, and that's crazy. I mean, we got just today, we learned that Austin Moore's brother, Ashton Moore, has committed to K-State. Let's bring in the whole family. I mean, we've had the whole family basically of the Lockett's, and what the Lockett family means to K-State Nation is absolutely incredible, because they have brought us so much joy, and their passion for K-State and wanting to make this program great. Man, seeing Tyler Lockett in the NFL and doing the great things he's done for years and years in the NFL, coming from K-State, and before that, his father and his uncle both played for the Wildcats. So we like to keep family tradition here at K-State. It's a wonderful thing to see, and we are so glad to be able to see that as fans. And we are so happy to support all of the former K-State players to make them want their kids and their relatives to come be a part of our family as well. The K-State family is absolutely amazing, and we welcome you guys, you new recruits, to the team and to the family, because the excitement around this roster, not just for this year, but for the future after that, man, the potential is insane. The sky is really the limit for this team, and you can't deny how exciting this team could really be. And talking about this year, we have probably the best backfield in the one of the best backfields in the entire nation. We have the best backfield in the Big 12 by far, but we may have the best big backfield in the entire nation. And that is absolutely awesome, because when you look at the pure talent that Avery Johnson and DJ Giddens and Dylan Edwards, those three pieces alone make this backfield one of the scariest in college football. And the fact that these guys are young, DJ Giddens is going into his junior year. That means if he doesn't break out and become an NFL draft pick, and he stays for one more year with Dylan Edwards and Avery Johnson, I mean, honestly, you cannot deny the fact that that is a scary, scary, scary team to have to face in college football. And it's not just those three. Those three are not going to make up this entire offense. We have great playmakers. Jace Brown is an amazing wide receiver, and he's young. He's got a lot of potential, and he's growing and getting better with every rep that he makes. The connection that him and Avery Johnson have is absolutely awesome to see. And it's not just him. Avery Johnson's connection to every single player on this team, not just on the offensive side, on the defensive side as well, is exactly what you want from a leader and your quarterback in the Big 12. We are set up in a position where we could be a powerhouse team, a top 10 team, a top 5 team, a national championship team very, very easily. And it's not out of the question. I'm not crazy for saying that. K-State has a lot of potential, and just the excitement going into this year is crazy to think about, because I'm excited as can be. I mean, you know that. I can't deny that. I can't hide that from you guys. And I love talking about it so much because it brings me so much joy to know that the potential of this team is a national championship. It really is. And if you don't think that K-State has the potential this year and in the future to win a national championship, you haven't been paying attention to this team at all. Because, man, the way these kids work to get better every single game, the progress we're going to see from even the end of last year with these players to now. You take the Pop-Tart Bowl to mid-season, and you're going to see so much growth and so much more potential out of this team. And even before that, the potential was already sky high. It's just that they're only getting better with every day that passes. And I believe that K-State is going to be a powerhouse team and a national championship contender in the now and in the future as well, because the culture they are building there under Coach Kleiman and Matt Wells and Connor Riley, the entire team, the entire coaching staff, Gene Taylor is an athletic director, everybody is working together to build the best team they possibly can, and that will be set up for future success no matter what comes. It's beautiful to see as a K-State fan and a Big 12 fan. I want to see that from every Big 12 team, not just K-State, but I'm excited that K-State is the team that has the most potential right now to compete for a national championship. And I'm not saying that other teams don't have that potential, because they absolutely do. The Big 12 has several teams that really, really could play for a national championship. And I will not discredit those teams at all. I will not discredit them, because the work they are putting in, the rosters they are building, the history they have, just the programs they have are absolutely amazing. And I can't deny, as a Big 12 fan, I can't deny the fact that Utah and Oklahoma State and several other teams in the Big 12 could really compete for a national championship. It's not out of the question. The Big 12 is so strong from the top to the bottom. It's unreal. And when you look at, I'll use this as an example. When you look at the bottom teams in the Big 12 and you compare them to middle of the pack ACC schools, well, a little higher up on the ACC scale, but Big 10 and SEC schools, you take their middle of the pack, our lowest teams are competitive and could beat them very easily. I'm not saying that they would beat them easily. I'm just saying that it's not hard to think about the fact that our lowest teams could beat middle of the pack teams in any of these other conferences. And that's our bottom team. If that's what our floor is right now, think about the potential in the future. Really. I mean, the potential here is absolutely insane. And we have a commissioner that is so dedicated to making sure this conference not only competes with the SEC and the Big 10, he wants to surpass them. And I said that several weeks ago on the show. I said it then, and I will repeat it again right now. The Big 12 has the potential in 5 to 10 years that they could be the powerhouse conference. They could potentially surpass the Big 10 and the SEC. I know you think I'm crazy for thinking this, but I'm not. And I'll tell you why. Look at Brett Yormark. Look at what he has done since he took over as commissioner of the Big 12. Around the same time last year, we were talking about there was some talk of maybe adding the Four Corner schools. And right after Big 12 Media Day, those talks intensified. The sources kept coming out and saying, there's wheels spinning on this, pay attention. And very, very shortly after, suddenly the Big 12 announces the addition of the Four Corner schools. And this is the exact same situation that we were in a year ago. It's not insane to think about. And I'll tell you why. Because right now, the Big 12 has its pick of any ACC school that it wants to add. I honestly believe that. There's no doubt in my mind, no question from me whatsoever. The Big 12 can take any school it wants out of the ACC. And as we were going through Media Day, once again, our sources kept bringing up the conversation of Florida State and Clemson. Florida State and Clemson have been in talks with the Big 12 for quite a while now. It's it's really not a secret. It really isn't. And the fact that they are not an AAU school, so they can't enter the Big Ten, only makes that door open even wider. And I'll tell you something else. I have sources that tell us that they were talking to the Big Ten and the SEC slightly, but those talks have gone absolutely nowhere. Guess what? The Big 12 has been in talks with them and continues to be in contact with Florida State and Clemson about bringing them aboard on the Big 12 ship. I said it before and I will say it again. When it comes to college realignment and expansion, the Big 12 has the most potential out of all three. Now, I don't know that I necessarily believe that at the end of this, the ACC will completely disband. They may retain a few members that want to hold the name, and that's fine. But they're going to end up being like the American Conference, where they're not in the Big Three when this is all said and done, because all of their great members have left to the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC. Not only is Florida State and Clemson been in contact with the Big 12, but as we reported several weeks ago on the show, the Big 12 had 7 or 8 other schools contact them about joining. And those wheels are still turning. They're still in contact with these schools. And the momentum is doing nothing but picking up speed. And man, it is such a crazy thought that 4 years ago you would have thought, man, I don't know what the future of the Big 12 holds. Suddenly Brett Yormark comes in and blasts the door wide open. It's crazy. He has done such an amazing job as commissioner, and he is so dedicated to not only just the conference and making it stay relevant, he wants to make this conference better than the Big Ten and the SEC. He doesn't just want to compete with them, he wants to surpass them and make sure that everybody knows the Big 12 is a powerhouse conference. Not just now, in the future, and for the future to come, the Big 12 will be a powerhouse conference. Because honestly, I'll say if because you never know. I'll say it. If Florida State and Clemson decide to join the Big 12, I'll say this. Do you really, really think that the Big 12 would stop there? Maybe add a third team. Do you think they'd stop there? No, they absolutely will not stop. As Brett Yormark said in his speech at Big 12 Media Days, if we pause, if we take a step to slow down, then we lose all momentum that we have. We are keeping this train rolling down the tracks, and very, very, very soon, it is going to be an absolutely unstoppable force. And really, when you look at the floor of the Big 12 and the ceiling of these other conferences, our floor may not be their ceiling, but it's pretty darn close. I mean, because what does the Big 12 have to lose by being this aggressive? Absolutely nothing. The Big 12 is going to expand. I've said that before. And I believe that 6 teams by the end of this year, the Big 12 will add at least 6 teams. And then maybe with the potential in the future to add 4 more, maybe, potentially, depending on who's available, who talks to the Big Ten, who talks to the SEC. What talks come of that, you don't know. But I'll tell you, the Big 12 is setting itself up to be the best conference in the entire nation. He doesn't want to be the third best conference in the nation. He wants to be the absolute best. And Brett Yormark, as fans of the Big 12, we are so thankful to have a commissioner that literally cares so much about our conference that he is risking it all to be the best conference in the nation. And I don't mean risking it all as in he's making risky moves. No, every single move that Brett Yormark is making and has made has been very, very carefully calculated, and he has considered it every possibility that he possibly can. He is doing everything he can to make sure the Big 12 is the best conference in the nation. So for the people that are sitting there calling me crazy, I want you to take a step back, think about the realignment that we've seen, think about the direction that everything is going, listen to what Brett Yormark himself said, and understand that he is not going to let this conference die. He really isn't. This conference is an absolute powerhouse conference for years and years to come. It's not crazy to think about. It's not out of the question. And when you look at adding Florida State and Clemson and the other possibilities, the crazy thing is that, as I said a little bit ago, the Big 12 literally has its pick of these ACC schools. If they really want an ACC school, they can get them. There's no denying that. Like, you can't argue with absolute facts. And I get it. A lot of this is coming from fans of the ACC or the Pac-12 that didn't want their conference to go away. As I said before, I don't know that the ACC disbands completely. They may add in some more members from the American Conference or wherever else. But once they lose Florida State and Clemson to the Big 12, plus several other members to not only the Big 12, the SEC, and the Big 10, they're not going to be the powerhouse conference that they think they are. And their stability is so shaky right now that Brett Yormark is doing the best job he can to take advantage of that. There's no question that the Big 12 is absolutely amazing, and it is headed in such a great direction. It's not crazy to even think about the fact that the Big 12 could very well be the best conference in the nation in 5 to 10 years. And if you don't see that, you're looking through blinders, because it is apparent. If you listen to the sources, you listen to everybody that's involved in the situations, you listen to the comments Brett Yormark himself have made. I mean, really, how do you argue that the Big 12 doesn't have its pick of these ACC schools? You cannot argue that. It's a simple fact, and it's driven by facts. I'm not just speaking what I think here. I'm speaking off of the sources we have on the inside that are telling us what's really going on. And if you choose not to believe facts, that's on you, and we can't help you with that. I'm sorry. We'll try to educate you and try to bring you up to speed on what's really going on, because that's our job here at Tree City Sports. But when you sit there and argue that the ACC isn't so unstable that the Big 12 doesn't have its pick of any member that it wants, you're the crazy one. And I get it. I refrain from calling people crazy, but I have to defend myself in this situation because honestly, who looks crazy now? I said that several weeks ago, and man, back then it really seemed like that was an odd thing to say. But I had sources back then, and I have sources now that are telling me to tell you to believe in what I'm saying. I'm not just speaking out of randomness here. I am using facts and what is actually going on the inside to report to you that the Big 12 is going to be a powerhouse conference for years and years to come. It's not out of the question, and it's not that crazy to think about no matter what you think. I personally think that there is absolutely no way in the world that the ACC retains even its top 7 members, 8 members, because I believe that almost all of the ACC schools will go to the Big 10, the SEC, and most of them will go to the Big 12. And you know what? We are welcome to that because it does nothing but add strength to this conference. It also adds to the depth of the conference. And honestly, right now, the depth of the Big 12 is so much stronger than the ACC, the SEC, and the Big 10. You can't deny that. The SEC and the Big 10, and the ACC especially, only have a few members that may or may not compete for a national championship or a college football playoff spot. They may have 3 or 4 members from the SEC or the Big 10 that really compete. But guess what? In the Big 12, that could be any one of our members. Honestly, it really could. It's not out of the question, and it's not crazy to think about. The Big 12, in terms of depth, from our top team to our bottom team, is stacked so solid, it's insane. And you can't deny that, even if you're an ACC fan hoping that the ACC stays alive. There's hope the ACC stays alive, but not in its current format right now. And it's not going to be a power conference. These schools, Florida State, Clemson, Duke, every single one of these schools, North Carolina, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Pitt, all of these schools, and the list goes on and on and on, that they, as themselves, see what's about to happen. And there's a reason why they're trying to get out of the ACC. And once Florida State and Clemson does, that's it. The rest of them are going to follow. Maybe not all. Who knows? Maybe Pitt actually stays behind in the ACC, but I don't believe that. I really don't. And it's one of those deals that if the Big 12 wants to add 6 teams to the conference by the end of the year, let's just go down this hypothetical for just a second. If the Big 12 adds 6 teams by the end of this year, how do you decide the last 3 teams in and who gets left out? You really can't. The Big 12, because of the position that it is in right now, man, It is crazy to think about. It really is. But it's not that crazy to think about the potential that the Big 12 really has. The Big 12 is setting itself up for not only success right now, but in the future. And a few of the comments that I heard and I read were, well, they're not gonna get enough funding to spread to all these schools. They're not gonna make enough to spread that revenue to all these new schools. What do you think that naming rights really does here? Do you honestly believe that selling the naming rights, if done in the right way, which is what Brett Yormark is currently working on, he isn't just rushing through this to get a deal done just to be splashy. No, he is being very, very considerate, and he is taking his time vetting every single option that he could possibly have in terms of the naming rights. And adding these naming rights deals only expands the possibility even more of the Big 12 expanding. They will be able to use that revenue and the added revenue from bringing in more schools from the ACC or wherever they come from, what it means for the conference. It just means so much more. They will be able to spread out more revenue through to all of the Big 12 teams because of the naming rights deal. And the naming rights deal, and because of the extra revenue that can be spread here, we have a possibility that the Big 12 does not stop at 6 teams. Maybe they announce right off by the end of this year or the beginning of football season next year in 2025, maybe the Big 12 announces 6 new members. That does not mean they will not be in talks with other teams from other conferences about joining. And honestly, it's not that crazy to think about. The Big 12 is set up in the best position that it can possibly be in, and there's no denying the fact that the potential of the Big 12, the sky really is the limit. You can't look at this conference and the moves they have made recently and are currently making and think to yourself that this conference isn't a powerhouse conference. It absolutely is a powerhouse conference. And the Big 12, as I said before, and I will say again and again and again, the Big 12 will be a powerhouse conference for years and years to come. It's not out of the question, and it's not crazy to think about. I know the Big 10 and the SEC, they really think they have miles of length on us. They are so far ahead of us, they think it's not even a thought to them. But that's exactly why you should be paying attention and you should be looking at where this is going to go. Because if you're not ready for it, the Big 12 is going to hit you like a freight train. And suddenly you're going to realize, man, the Big 12 is suddenly the best conference in the nation. No, it's not suddenly the best conference in the nation because it's what we've been building and what we are continuing to build. So their miles of distance between us is not realistic. It's more of a few hundred feet. Like, we could catch up in very, very short amount of time. It's not crazy to think about. In 5 to 10 years, the Big 12 will either be exactly on par with the SEC and the Big 10, or they will have surpassed them. No question in my mind whatsoever. Every source I've talked to and everything that I've personally witnessed in the Big 12, what's going on in expansion, and listening to Brett Yormark's own comments, the commissioner's comments himself, proves that this conference is the best in the nation, and it's going to be. And it's going to be unquestionable when you realize the Big 12 is the best. There's going to be no questioning it. It's going to be, yeah, where did this come from? We've spent years and years building this conference from what it was to what it is. It's not crazy to think about. The Big 12 is set up in such a wonderful position that you cannot deny the possibility that in 5 to 10 years, the Big 12 will show itself as the best conference in the entire nation. I know it looks crazy. It sounds crazy. I know you think I might be a little bit cuckoo for saying this. Lock me away. Throw away the key. That's fine. If you choose not to believe the facts and not to see the wheels that are really spinning on this, we can't do anything to help you. All we can do is tell you the facts that we know and what wheels we know are actually spinning on this. And believe me, there are big, big wheels spinning really fast on this. Do not count out the Big 12 in any way, shape, or form. One other thing I want to touch on really quick is there was discussion throughout Big 12 media days. It was discussed several times about the Big 12 moving the basketball tournament to Las Vegas from Kansas City. And the biggest argument for that is the fact that in their minds, nobody wants to go to Kansas City. We'd rather go to Vegas. Yes, Vegas is a premier travel destination and looks amazing to have as your center for your basketball tournament. There really isn't denying that. I'm not going to say that it wouldn't be a great option for the Big 12 to explore. But what I will say is for you to, within a very short time, move the Big 12 tournament to Las Vegas, which is only the center of 4 schools, 4 new schools that recently joined the conference out of Kansas City, which is a great location for the rest of the Big 12 teams. Oklahoma City would also, and they hosted the Big 12 tournament in years past. Before it moved to Kansas City, it was held in Oklahoma City. Honestly, Oklahoma City is a really great center where all of the teams could very easily travel. And it's like in Kansas City, man, I dislike Iowa State fans very, very much. They have given themselves a bad rep, and the way they act at games is just childish. But I will say how much I love Iowa State's fans because of the fact that when it comes time for the Big 12 tournament, there's so many Iowa State fans that make that trip and they stay the entire weekend and go to every game. These are great fans. They really are. They love their team. No matter how much they upset you or how annoying they are, it doesn't matter. I have to show appreciation to Iowa State fans because of how well they travel to the Big 12 tournament. And we go every year. Personally, I go every year, and I try to take 1 or 2 of the kids with me. And it's just an amazing experience, the whole atmosphere, everything they have going on outside, and the whole area in the Power and Light District is absolutely incredible. If you've never been to the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City, I highly recommend that you do that. Absolutely put it on your bucket list. Go do it. And if you do, and you see us at the Big 12 tournament in Kansas City, absolutely do not be afraid to come up, say hi, come hang out with us. We want to talk to all fans of all Big 12 members. I'm a fan of the Big 12 so much that I would put my personal differences against the other Big 12 teams aside to have a great conversation with great fans from other teams. I don't hate the fans from Iowa State or KU or Colorado or the ones that get incredibly annoying sometimes. I don't hate those teams, and I'll tell you why. Because their passion for their teams, how do you not love that as Big 12 fans? You don't. You love every bit of that. I do. Personally, I love everything that makes the Big 12 stronger and deeper as a whole. And I'm all for adding even more great teams and great fan bases to this conference if it helps the Big 12 surpass the Big 10 and the SEC. And it's not out of the question that happens in 5 to 10 years. And 10 years is stretching it, because the momentum the Big 12 has right now, you can't deny that they're rolling at almost an unstoppable pace. It's crazy to think about, but it's not that crazy in reality. And I don't think that moving the basketball tournament to Las Vegas wouldn't be a great move. Like I said, I absolutely 100% understand the appeal and the desire to move the tournament to Las Vegas. I really do. It's a premier tourist destination, and if you want to have a great experience, go to Vegas. I personally never got to go there, but I'm hoping in the next few years we are able to make that trip for some reason, some sporting event or another. Maybe it'll be a Chiefs game. Who knows? That'd be awesome to go to a Raiders game. But moving the Big 12 basketball tournament to Las Vegas, because it's the center of the Four Corner Schools. The Four Corner Schools are not the most important schools in the conference. And there's a reason for that, because there is no one school that is more important to the Big 12 than any other. I cannot sit here and say that K-State is more important to the Big 12 than KU is. Absolutely not. The Big 12 is great because of how equally awesome all of the teams are and how well we mesh together. The Big 12 really is one big happy family, and we invite every single ACC fan to just come see what it's like. Come enjoy a Big 12 game sometime. Enjoy the atmosphere. Enjoy tailgating. Go see what the games are like before you talk about not wanting to join the Big 12, because as Utah and Arizona State and Colorado fans are starting to figure out, and they even talk about how appreciative they are of the Big 12 because of how great this conference really is. They talk about how awesome our fans are, and we can rib each other all day long. We can give each other a hard time. But at the end of the day, the Big 12 is one big happy family. Who wouldn't want to be a part of a family as amazing as the Big 12? That's all I'm asking. I'm just saying, before you say that you don't want to join the Big 12, come experience what it's like to be a member. Come experience our games, our atmospheres. Because once you see how amazing the Big 12 really is from the inside, you'll be a fan too. There's no doubt in my mind that once you realize how great the Big 12 is, you can't help but to love the Big 12. And again, as much as I dislike other fans from other teams, Iowa State, KU, Colorado, all of those teams, I have so much respect for the fans that I love every single Big 12 fan, no matter what. And I have absolutely no personal beef with any fan from any Big 12 team whatsoever. It doesn't matter. We love the Big 12, and as fans of the Big 12, we want nothing but the best for our entire conference, not just our own teams. One other thing that needs to be discussed while we're discussing Big 12 and all of the possibilities that come with it. Listening to Brett Yormark's comments about expansion of bringing games to Mexico. They've got a football game scheduled for Mexico City, I believe, in 2025. That's incredible. The international exposure for this is crazy, but it's not just that. He's looking at bringing a lot more in terms of women's soccer and baseball to Mexico as well. I mean, just the thought of that, to get that kind of extra support and gain fans in Mexico of these Big 12 teams, the international exposure is more than incredible right now, because the position that the Big 12 is setting themselves up for is crazy to think about. It's not crazy to think that we get fans from Mexico and these other places, Ireland, where K-State and Iowa State are going to play Farmageddon in 2025. Man, just the possibilities there are insanely exciting, and we cannot wait to see the Farmageddon game in Dublin. The excitement behind that is absolutely real. And again, I think this international exposure will be absolutely fantastic for the Big 12 Conference and will do nothing but help the Big 12 grow and expand to other markets. And speaking of Big 12 Media Days, we finally got to hear from Ollie Gordon and Mike Gundy himself. Now, when Mike Gundy spoke on this issue, he got ridiculed up the wall. I don't think that was as fair as what the attackers are claiming it is, because he's defending his player, and if you listen to what he says, he literally basically just said that Ollie Gordon needs to and is doing everything he can to redeem himself. I mean, he knows he messed up. He admitted it. He's taking care of it. So it's not as big of a deal as what they're making it out to be. And they're taking one snippet out of his entire comments and basing their opinion on that. He's defending his player. As a coach, I would do the exact same thing. You can't say that in that situation, you wouldn't do everything you can to protect your player, especially one of the best running backs in the entire nation. Also, let me explain something to you. I don't know how many of you realize how this works, because I get it. What he did was wrong. We're not discussing that. We're not going to excuse what he did. But he is making steps, doing everything he can to redeem himself and make up for the mistakes he made. We were all kids once. We all did dumb things. Every single one of us. And if you've never done something that was even slightly questionable, like, man, maybe that wasn't a great idea. That sounded better in my head. You can't ridicule him for that, because we've all done stupid things that we regret doing and that affects other people. Ollie Gordon is doing his best to redeem himself, and he is earning it. I believe he really is. But the thing that people do not understand is the fact that when you really, really think about it, honestly, Ollie Gordon is the best player on Oklahoma State's team. And he is one of the absolute best running backs in the entire nation. Not just in the Big 12. In the entire nation, he is one of the best running backs. Hands down. Can't argue with it. Don't even try. He's one of the best in the nation. And as Mike Gundy said in his statement, what's suspending him for one game going to do? Is it really going to make that much of a difference? No, it's not. You're better off doing exactly what Mike Gundy said. Make him run the ball 50 times his very first game. You know how that ends for you? You have an insane amount of rushing yards, and he makes a huge impact on the game. And you should almost consider doing that every single game. And to him, that's not a punishment, because he would be eating up those stats and helping himself in the Heisman talk. He really would. Honestly, this kid is a great player, has amazing talent. Also, if you're a coach or an athletic director, a program that has a player of his caliber, that has the talent that he has, you're not gonna let him sit. You cannot afford to let him sit on the bench even one game. And again, one game isn't going to make a difference, but if you suspend him for 6 games, really, what are you doing? You're losing, as a program, you're losing your best player. You can't afford to do that because of the on-the-field product and how much weight he carries on this team because of how great of a player he is. Second, you literally cannot afford for him not to play. They are paying him so much money through the NIL and everything else that he makes too much to sit on the bench. And as Mike Gundy said, it's really getting to a point where we have to look at them as employees of these college football or college programs. I mean, it really isn't that big of a deal when you really think about it. He's going to pay enough when it comes to his court fees and his community service time that he has to serve. He's going to end up paying several thousands of dollars. He's not getting out of this lightly or cheaply by any means whatsoever. He is going to get through this just fine, though, because of the amount of money they're paying him through the NIL. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's completely okay to us. Because, as I said last week, anything that negatively affects the Big 12 any Big 12 fan should want to go away. How quickly after the draft did we stop talking about the wreck that involved the Georgia players? Once the NFL draft was over, it didn't take very long to stop talking about it. And this is the same situation. As Mike Gundy said, at the end of the day on Tuesday, when they had their media day, at the end of the day, he was done talking about it. That was it. It was over for him. And I feel the same way. We've talked about it. We've discussed it. It's time to move on. And you should too. As a Big 12 fan, you should want nothing but the best for every Big 12 team, no matter who they are. Alrighty then. I'm done with my Big 12 talk for now, but man, we could talk about this for days and days and days. The Big 12 talk could never end. But I'm going to relieve you from that. Parker's going to relieve you from that because we're going to cut to Parker and he's going to bring you our Kansas Athlete Spotlight presented by Arrowhead Nutrition. Again, do not forget to stop by Arrowhead Nutrition. Go in, say hi. Tell Jared and all of his team that we sent you and that we say hi because they are absolutely wonderful people. And we thank them so much for sponsoring our Kansas Athlete Spotlight. This is incredible. We've got some amazing, amazing names on this list. And a lot of local kids too. And something thrown in there that is very special. This morning, I had the absolute privilege of interviewing Troy Prosser, the track and field and cross-country coach for the Central Heights High School Vikings. I gotta say, it was an absolute treat to talk to him. He is a wonderful person, and very, very soon, we had an interview, but there was some issues with recording. So the interview didn't get recorded. Parker's going to bring you up to speed on some of the stuff that happened during that interview. But we are very excited to announce that we are going to, at some point in the very near future, have Coach Prosser on the show in person. So be looking forward to that because I am. That is an absolute treat. Getting to talk to him was incredible. I mean, what a fantastic coach he is and the amazing things he is doing for Central Heights. You can't argue that he is one of the most exciting coaches, not just in the area, but in the entire state of Kansas. They did so well at the 2A state track meet. They set several state records throughout the season, personal records for all of them. I mean, the whole season was absolutely incredible. So we want to say congratulations again on an amazing season to Central Heights and their entire track and field and cross-country teams led by an amazing coach in Coach Prosser. We thank you so much for everything that you do for this community in Franklin County and everything else. The community needs more of this positivity, and we are here to bring it to you. Without further ado, Parker, take it away, bud.
What's going on, guys? Parker here with Tree City Sports. Glad to be back. Glad to be talking sports, especially your Kansas Athlete Spotlights of the Week presented by Arrowhead Nutrition. Let's get right into our first athlete presented by Jared and the guys over at Arrowhead. Thank you again for sponsoring. We appreciate all the help and support. And let's get right into our first athlete. So our first athlete today is Troy Prosser out of Central Heights High School. This is a special athlete of the week because we actually have an interview on Troy. Troy led the Central Heights Vikings to a cross-country and track and field state championships and state records. He was named the 2023 KCC-TFCA 2A Coach of the Year after leading the Central Heights boys cross-country team to a 2A state championship. Congratulations, Coach Prosser. Again, not an athlete here for our Athlete Spotlight, but a Coach Spotlight. We love shouting out any and all ages here in Kansas. And Coach Prosser being nothing short of that. So let's get right into his interview with Calvin here, and he has some great stuff to share, so let's get right into it. So with the interview here, Coach Prosser was going into his 10th year. The boys 4x800 team at the 2A state track meet ran an 8:14.92, smoking fast. Connor Burkdahl, Cody Hammond, Christian McCord, and Owen Miller. They were quoted as being the hardest working team, amazing teammates that always lift each other up and work to be the absolute best. They have even more potential to get faster, he says, with the fastest mile split in state history between 1A and 6A. Connor and the gang over there are a group of workhorses. They had to change the record board about 9 times this year at Central Heights, and 4 out of 16 all-state athletes are from there. Connor Burkdahl and Owen Miller placed 3rd and 4th at the state meet in the boys 3,200 meter. Cody Hammond got 2nd in the 1,600 meter with a time of 4:33, and Connor Burkdahl got 5th with a time of 4:36. Cody Hammond placed 1st in the 800 meter with a 1:58, and Christian McCord placed 5th with a 2:03. Calvin asked a few questions actually to Troy here. So he asked him, what is the biggest improvement you usually see from a freshman to when they become a senior? Coach said physically as an athlete, as teammates and leaders, maturities and personalities change. They come out of their shells and start showing their true personalities, really. Calvin also asked, what is one exercise/thing you would recommend anyone to improve their running? He said, know the difference between fast, slow, and recovery. Being prepared and knowing what you want to accomplish, taking care of your body to maximize that performance as well. Calvin asked, are there any runners here, either at your school or at other schools in the area, that you were most excited about watching them compete this season? Coach said West Franklin High is going to be exciting. They have a lot of history and potential, but all the local high schools are exciting teams. West Franklin, Ottawa, Wellsville, Baldwin, Central Heights, they're all going to do amazing things this year. He asked him, are there any runners either at your school or other schools in the area that you are most excited about watching them compete this season? Again, he said West Franklin is going to be exciting. They have a lot of history, potential there. How kids can be started interested in track is also a thing he asked. But Coach said word of mouth. He kind of lets it just spread between the players and lets them join as if. Calvin asked next if they have never thought about doing track, can it maybe be a window into getting into college? And Coach was quoted saying that comes through conversations. Kids see a window into college and become athletes, so you get more opportunities to work closer with the kids at a smaller school like Central Heights. Keep working. You will be better every day that you work towards it. You will be better than the day you started. So some great words of wisdom there from Coach Prosser. Hopefully they have a great season next year again. A lot of fast dudes out there in Central Heights, and let's get right into our next Kansas athlete spotlight of the week. So our next athlete comes out of Dodge City, Kansas. We have Cameron Lenz. She signed to play softball for Ottawa University, where Calvin actually resides. He is pretty excited about this one. I'm hearing he's really excited to have her a part of the softball team. In her 2 years at Dodge City Community College, Lenz played in 88 games. She had a .291 batting average. She was 67 for .230, scored 55 runs, hit 19 doubles, 5 triples, and 2 home runs. Drove in 44, had a slugging of .443, walked 29 times, was hit by a pitch 5 times. She had a .383 on-base percentage throughout her career, stealing 17 bases, and was an academic All-American for Dodge County Community College. I know as an incoming athlete in the Kansas Jayhawk Conference, it's cool to see a girl succeeding so well in the conference. I know I'm looking for a lot of exciting times this spring, being on the field with those guys at the JUCO level. I'm really excited about it, and it seems as Cameron took her abilities from Dodge High School to Dodge Community College and made the best out of it. So at Dodge City, she lettered in softball, bowling, and volleyball. On the softball diamond, she was a second-team All-League honors as a senior. As a member of the Red Demon bowling team, Lenz was a 4-time Kansas State tournament participant, and she was a second-team All-State selection as a sophomore. and earned first-team All-State honors as a senior. So again, congratulations to Cameron. Good luck at Ottawa University. Hope you guys and the Braves kick some butt this season. And yeah, let's get into our next Kansas Athlete Spotlight of the Week. Next, we have Braden Ledford from Ottawa University. He was named to the CSC Academic All-American team. He was the second time he was named to the team. He was a second-team NAIA Academic All-American last season. Ledford, a junior from Winfield, Kansas, qualified NAIA National Championships in the 133-pound weight class and earned KCAC All-Conference honors. He finished with the year on a 21-11 record, and had a dual mark of 12-4. Had 13 falls. He is tied for 8th in OU record book in single-season falls, 8th for wins as a junior, and was 2nd in single-season wins at 133 pounds with 21. So congratulations, Braden. And again, we have another Ottawa Brave next, so let's get right into it. Next, like I said, we have Carson Towney at Ottawa University. Towney, a senior from Wichita, Kansas, finished the 24 season first team All-KCAC and earning KCAC All-Tournament honors. He won 2 tournaments and placed 8th at the KCAC Championships, leading OU to a second-place finish in the championship. In 14.5 rounds, Towney had a 74.76 average. Congratulations again to him. What a great accomplishment for the Braves there. Please keep up the good work there, man. There's nothing like succeeding for your program, succeeding for your school, and being an all-conference selection has its upsides. So congratulations there, and let's get into, again, another Ottawa Brave. Here it comes. Next, we have Coach Ethan Wilson, the new assistant baseball coach at Ottawa University. He comes from Kansas Westland, where he was an assistant coach with the Coyotes from 2022 to 2024. As a coaching staff member, he was a graduate assistant, pitching coach, recruiting coordinator, and a varsity reserve head coach. KW captured the 23 and 24 KCAC regular season championships, which is the conference Ottawa's in. He also led the KW varsity reserve team to a 2024 KCAC championship. The Yotes qualified for 3 straight NAIA opening round appearances and advanced this year to the 2024 NAIA Baseball College World Series. Wilson was a 3-year member of the KW baseball team. In 2021, he tied the school record for most appearances in a single season. Wilson had a record of 3-1 and threw over 40 innings. Before attending KW, he attended Northern Oklahoma College Tonkawa, which is a JUCO in Oklahoma. 2 seasons at Tonkawa, he had a record of 9-1, mainly as a reliever. Finished with 3.91 ERA and threw over 50 innings his sophomore season. He helped NOC Tonkawa to a top 5 ranking in the nation each of his 2 seasons. Congratulations, Coach Wilson, for being accepted and hired into the coaching staff of the Ottawa Braves. I know they have a great staff going over there, and trying to build a winning culture over there in Ottawa, and I'm sure this addition will be a great one to that program. And let's get right into our next athlete of the week. Next, we have Lila Hamblin at Central Heights High School, Richmond, Kansas. She's a junior, 2024-2025. Her sophomore year stats and awards were a varsity volleyball, varsity softball, high school cheer team, student council, and FCCLA. A 4.0 GPA in 2 semesters, academic all-league, Flint Hills All-League softball, sports in Kansas All-State softball, top 10% in the following classes: geometry, algebra 2, English, English and American history. So just want to say congratulations to Lila. Great work. Keep up the good work this senior year, and don't take high school for granted. Enjoy the time you have with your teammates, with everybody around you, and enjoy it and keep playing at a high level. And before we get into our next athlete, I kind of wanted to go through a little bit of her softball stats here, though. She batted .412 with a .472 on base percentage, OPS of 1.247, slugging of .774, finished with 33 hits, 13 singles, 13 doubles, 5 triples, and 2 bombs. Her fielding, innings pitched was 139, innings behind the plate was 139, PB was 24, stolen bases 29, and caught stealing was 6. So congratulations to her. Great season again, and let's get into our next athlete. Our next athlete here is Elena Green from Wellsville High School. Elena is going to be a sophomore this upcoming year. Last year as a freshman, she got all-area volleyball, all-area basketball, and all-state honorable mention in basketball. Congratulations, Elena. What an accomplishment there. And that wraps up our Kansas Athlete Spotlights of the Week. Thanks again, Jared, for sponsoring these athlete spotlights. We love recognizing these athletes throughout the state and getting their names out there. We appreciate all your help and support, and thank you guys for having me on here for the spotlights. And let's get into a little bit of baseball news, a little bit more sports news, just kind of chat it up here a little bit for a second, and yeah, here we go. Now I want to get into a little bit of draft news and home run derby / all-star game news. Starting off, Kansas City Royals. We're big Royals fans here at Tree City, so the fact that Jack Caglione from the Florida Gators, possibly the best player in the draft, some people say best college baseball player all time, but, that's up for opinion. But one of the purest hitters in the draft, 80 grade power, which MLB scouts grade from a 20 to 80 scale, and his raw power is 80, topped out. So we could be seeing this dude hitting home runs in Kauffman this postseason. That would be awesome. But, yeah, picking up Jack Caglione was a huge grab for the Royals. First-round picks don't come by all that often. And to have a guy like Jack Caglione in your lineup is going to be something to see. Him next to Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be exciting. Going to sell tickets for sure. And, yeah, also Kalen Culpepper out of Kansas State University getting selected 21st overall to the Minnesota Twins. Congratulations, Kalen. It's been awesome watching you play and grow up through the Manhattan baseball program here at K-State. Just seeing these first-round draft picks come out of Manhattan really is exciting for me as a kid that grew up here, knowing that this place can produce D1 athletes that can then again get drafted in the first round and become major leaguers. That's just great news for me, honestly. So, yeah. Also, the Royals picking up Tennessee righty Drew Beam. Great arm. Tennessee's really a Friday night ace guy. Their go-to right-handed pitcher. Beam was a workhorse, as they would say, for Tennessee. We also got I think Andrew Causey is his name, a right-handed arm out of Tennessee late in the back couple of rounds. So that was another good pickup, another bullpen arm out of Tennessee. So getting some natty champs on the team to build the culture. I love that. Also getting more into some Kansas State draft picks. We had Tyson Neighbors selected by the San Diego Padres in the 4th round. Congratulations, Tyson. That dude throws some gas, and I was there in Manhattan at Toynton, or here in Manhattan at Toynton to watch him play a lot, and the scouts were out for him and Kalen, I will say, alongside these other guys I'll get to, but especially there for Tyson and Kalen. Those guys, I'm sure, made some big bank on their signing bonuses, so congratulations to those guys. We got to the 5th round, and Jackson Wentworth, our right-handed pitcher, was selected by the Toronto Blue Jays. Congratulations, Jackson. Again, another dog on the mound. That combo of Jackson Wentworth to start the game, then going to Tyson Neighbors, is what won us the game in Arkansas at the Fayetteville Regional. Those dudes coming in, shutting the door against one of the best lineups maybe in baseball at the time, the number 5 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. That was a great accomplishment there, and these guys deserve to be drafted on the biggest stage, and for Wentworth and Neighbors to go top 5 rounds, that was really cool to see. We had what I thought was stupid, but Brady Day, the K-State second baseman, probably our purest hitter all season, aside from Kalen, maybe, got selected by the Phillies in the 10th round. Like I said, Phil's got themselves a dude. Brady's going to go there, he's going to grind, he's maybe going to end up on an MLB roster one day. So watch out for that that smooth swinging lefty from Manhattan, Kansas, from Kansas State. Hopefully he'll be up there in that Philly system. The best team in baseball right now, so I'm sure he's stoked about it. But yeah, cool to see these guys getting drafted, from my area, from Kansas. It's sick to see the Kansas State guys, especially. I know there's a couple of KU guys that got drafted. I also want to kind of get into the two guys that were actually former JUCO guys in Kansas that got drafted. So we had Ben McLaughlin out of Arkansas. I was just talking about them. He actually played against Kansas State in that regional. Huge strikeout by Tyson Neighbors to get him, but Ben ended up falling to the, I think, 9th round and was selected by the Arizona Diamondbacks. So congratulations, Ben. He was playing at Hutchinson Community College, actually, before Arkansas, and was, I think, from Colorado originally. But yeah, played at Hutchinson Community College, balled out there, got a scholarship to Arkansas, and now he's going to the MLB. So again, JUCO guys from Kansas getting drafted. We had another guy. I think he got drafted out of Oklahoma State, maybe, or Oklahoma. Not really as familiar with his name, but I know he played at Cali before Oklahoma or Oklahoma State. So congratulations to, I think it might be McDowell or something around those lines. I'm sorry, I'm not going to butcher it too hard. But yeah, JUCO guys getting drafted out of Kansas. Awesome to see, and let's get right into a little bit of news about the home run derby that finished tonight, sadly. Bobby Witt Jr. did come up short, probably about, we're talking this short, like hit it at the middle of the wall, one home run short. But man, did he put on a show to watch. It was something. It was so fun to watch, man. Like, from going to watching K-State playing a regional to now watching Bobby Witt Jr. smack home runs in the Derby, get all the way to the finals, and then tomorrow get to watch Salvi, Lugo, Reagans, Witt, all these guys play from the Royals in the All-Star game. It's going to be awesome to see. But yeah, Junior put on a show tonight. It was so fun to see. But Teoscar Hernandez did end up coming away with it for the Dodgers. Got that sick chain for winning the Derby. But yeah, congratulations, Bobby. You really put on a show. I know all your Kansas City Royals supporters are proud of you, man. We're glad you had fun with it. Glad you just went up there and swung loose. Hit a lot of home runs, too. So, yeah, again, thanks for having me on here, Calvin, to talk about some sports. Thank you guys for having me on here. I enjoy talking about sports, talking about Kansas athletes, spotlights, anything I can on here. It's been a true joy to be a part of, and can't wait for the next episode. So thanks again, guys. This has been Parker with Tree City Sports. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you so much for that, Parker. It's so wonderful to have you join the show once again. We look forward to seeing all of the wonderful news that you have in the future and all of the future Kansas athletes that we can highlight on our Kansas Athlete Spotlight presented by Arrowhead Nutrition. Man, these are amazing athletes coming out of the state of Kansas, and we are so thankful to be able to cover them and give them the recognition that they truly deserve. And we applaud you guys, all of the Kansas athletes, for your efforts in making this state known for having some great, great athletes coming out, going on to not only JUCO sports, Division I sports, every single level. These kids are making an impact. It's an amazing thing to see, and we are so thankful to live in a state that has such amazing athletes that are going to make a huge impact on sports in the future, not just in Kansas, but worldwide. So we cannot wait to bring you even more of these amazing athletes in our Kansas Athlete Spotlight. Man, what a show today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have, because honestly, doing this every single time, it's a blessing to get to report all of the Big 12 news and to bring you our Kansas Athlete Spotlight. It's not only a joy for me, I know Parker really enjoys it as well, and we are so thankful to have him join the beautiful journey that we are on. And we cannot wait to see what the future holds for not only sports in Kansas, but for all of us at Tree City Sports. With that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to AM Creations. Go check them out for all of their custom work. They do an amazing job. And our friend Royal's mom, Rita, at RJN Photography. Hit them up on their Facebook page. Just book them for all of your photography needs. They do absolutely wonderful. And my buddy Drew at DNN Detailing. You want to get your car looking great and show ready, Drew is the guy to contact. Hit up my buddy Drew at DNN Detailing. And lastly, but absolutely not least, I want to give the biggest shout out to Arrowhead Nutrition. As you can see, this drink barely made it through the episode because, as is all of their other products, this one is absolutely incredible. Stop by there, check them out, say hi, tell them we sent you. Tell them you heard it on Tree City Sports, because those guys are absolutely amazing. And we thank Arrowhead Nutrition so much for all of the wonderful support that they are giving us. This has been an amazing show, and we thank you guys so much for joining. Do not forget to like and subscribe, drop a comment, tell us what you think. Tell us your thoughts. You know, we want to hear it. We want to hear every team's perspective in the Big 12, and we are here for it. Man, until next time, y'all take care now.